Before the 2015 NBA draft, there were many speculations that highly regarded Duke prospect could be going number 1 overall to the Minnesota Timberwolves, which the player that actually was drafted to that team was Karl Towns, one of the best power forwards in the NBA right now and has a high ceiling in the NBA, and winning Rookie of the Year. He's one of the best players in the NBA right now. But I asked the question, what if Okafor was picked number 1 and he went to the Timberwolves? What would happen to the rest of the NBA as well as that draft class? Okafor would go to a young Timberwolves team, and the outlook on that team would be crazy as Chris Dunn, Wiggins, all those players would be on that team. And who would go to the Lakers? You say Karl Towns would fall to number 2, and they always needed a center surrounding Julius Randle, who they picked a couple years before that. So Karl Towns would be called the next Lakers legend, and he would be the star of that team only in his first season. And what would happen to DAngelo Russell? DAngelo Russell would be picked number 3 to go to the 76ers, who were in need of a point guard, and you already know what DAngelo Russell can do. A scary player if he went to Philly. They were always in need of a point guard after Allen Iverson's era, and who knows, he could be called the next Allen Iverson there in Philly and take over the role of that franchise with that crazy jump shot and that ability to just get to the basket, and he has a winner's mentality, which that doesn't bring in too much big men to the Philadelphia 76ers, which is kind of interesting. So the Lakers would have a very slasher mentality point guard who has a high ceiling. They would have a shooting guard that can hit the 3 as well as be a respectable 6-man coming off the bench in Lou Williams. And they would have a soon-to-be young, very young, talented small forward and Brandon Ingram, who was compared to Kevin Durant and he's going to be an all-star in a couple seasons. And then they would have Julius Randle, who has such a high ceiling in the NBA, a great defender, can box out anyone in the league, and he has so much room to grow. And next, this would all be led by Karl Towns. Cat would lead this Lakers team to ways, and now he wasn't on the Timberwolves. Now he's on the Los Angeles Lakers. So after one season, Ben Simmons wins Rookie of the Year, Brandon Knight wins 6-man, DeAndre Jordan wins Defensive Player, Jeremy Lin wins Most Improved, and Steve Kerr wins Coach of the Year. So we finished not in the playoffs, but the Philadelphia 76ers finished very well, so that's pretty cool to see without all those big men on the team. Towns had a terrific season. Okafor averaged 22 points on the Timberwolves, and then DAngelo Russell led that team with 21 points, and then Ben Simmons right behind him. So obviously we were not in the playoffs, but a very respected matchup right here as Cleveland beats the Golden State Warriors. And here in free agency, we're going to go after some top prospects, and Victor Oladipo is now a member of the team, a very great defensive player who can also expand his role and hit the 3-pointer, and he's another slasher. Next, we make a huge trade with the Boston Celtics to go out and get Jay Crowder, who's a terrific scorer, and we also went out and got Avery Bradley. But he's not just a terrific scorer, he's a great defensive player, and that's what we need. And we also picked up Doug McBuckets out there, who's going to expand our role, and we need tons of 3-point shooters, as now we're kind of a contender in the Western Conference. And yet again, it's all led by our young superstar, Karl Towns. And nonetheless, we have a great coach in Luke Walton, who's going to be carrying this team for many years, as our rebuilding phase here in Los Angeles is over only after a couple seasons. So at the end of the season, Steph wins MVP, Payne wins 6-man, Andre Roberson wins Most Improved, and Marshall wins Coach of the Year. But this year, Karl Towns steps up his game and goes all NBA first team, as we finish 3rd in the West. Karl Towns with 19 points, Brandon Ingram right behind him, who is soon to be all-star, and then Crowder and all the young players progress as well. So we finished with a record of 53-29, as in our first round matchup, we're going up against the Houston Rockets as we beat them, and now we're going on to the second round where we're facing Okafor in the young, talented Minnesota Timberwolves team, as they take us to a 2-1 lead as we tied up at 2-2, and now we go up 3-2 in the deciding game, but they force a Game 7. Of course, this is a very matchup that most fans want to see. Of course, Karl Towns on the Lakers and Jahlil Okafor on the Timberwolves, and it looks like we do beat them by 11 points and move on to the Western Conference Finals. We're going to be facing Damian Lillard in his Portland Trailblazers, and they're giving us some trouble right now as the deciding game, and we beat them in Game 6 as we're facing nonetheless the best team in the Eastern Conference, it seems like, for the last 2 seasons, as we go up 3-1, and we're going to simulate this one with Simcast. Hopefully they don't come back, and we got a tie game in the 3rd quarter moving along here. they're giving us some trouble. Obviously, LeBron James is one of the best players in the NBA still, as we do not want to choke a 3-1 lead like the Golden State Warriors do. So we're trying to get back in this game as they're just running through us as we lose right there by 9 points. And now here we go, Game 7 and Cleveland. So if we do win a championship, it's not going to be in front of our home crowd, but we're trying to get another banner here in Los Angeles. And here we go. And if we do win, Karl Towns will be one of the best Los Angeles Lakers legends and one of the best players to ever play in a Lakers uniform. If you can sneak out a win against LeBron James, as here we're going to jump in and we come back and beat them, and the Los Angeles Lakers are your 2018 NBA champions. There you go, Lou Williams and Victor Oladipo, two main parts of why we won this. And nonetheless, it would not have happened unless we had Karl Towns on this team. So that's what if Karl Towns with the Los Angeles Lakers. This is 2K, but it obviously would have been much different probably if it was in real life. But that is crazy to see, because obviously before this 2015 NBA draft, there were so many speculations which big man was going to go first. Obviously, Okafor, Duke prospect, who was so good in college, he was more than likely, people were saying he's going to go number 1 overall. But Karl Towns did the 3-point jump shot, reliable shot from mid-range, and he's just been a pure superstar. Here you go, some highlights. And there you go, your 2018 NBA champions, Los Angeles Lakers. Karl Towns wins it, and Brandon Ingram already wins a championship in his second year. And there you go, Karl Towns wins a championship and also Finals MVP. So he's going to go down as one of the best Lakers to play in the NBA. And you already know Kobe was probably in the stands in that one, as Kyrie in Game 7 went off for 43. Seems like Game 7 in real life, as Victor Oladipo had a great game, and so is the rest. So if you guys don't want to see more what ifs, make sure to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.